Hey, this part here is going to be kind of like a little ad, if you will. Although it is unsponsored, I'm not sponsored, but Bob of Brookwood Leather here provided me with this handle gratis, and I can't thank him enough. It was an extraordinary gift that was unexpected and unprovoked. I was not looking for a handout, and he was kind enough to, you know, put his best foot, not best foot forward, I mean, you know what I mean, like he put his heart forward. So the way it kind of works is if you go to Brookwood Leather, you send an email saying, hey, I want this, that, and the other, and he kind of responds back and tells you yay, nay, and whatever, you know. Sure, we'll send it your way, this is how much it costs, yada, 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 all that jazz. So in my initial, you know, response to him, I said, hey, I've got this amplifier I'm building for a fundraiser. I wanted American-made parts, and yours fits the bill. Can you please send me a, you know, an Alpha Dog leather handle in brown? Pretty please, cherry on top. I would love to get that from you. And he sent a response back saying, hey, tell me a little bit more about this, you know, this amp that you're building and the fundraiser that it's for. And I did so. I, you know, told him that my wife is active in the community, and we have an event going on, a fundraiser that is benefiting the Trails Committee in our area, which for us is a big deal. And I was commissioned to build an amplifier for them. So every amplifier needs a handle. And he said, you know what, tell you what, I will give you the handle for free. All you got to do is pay for the dog bones and the shipping, and, you know, the only thing I expect in return is a photo of the amp when you're done, so that way I can see, you know, I want to see what it looks like. I want to know how it turned out, and, you know, of course, he wants to highlight his handle. But I decided I'm going to go a little bit further than that and give him a little bit of ad time. If you are looking for an American-made part that is very well made, this thing here is beefy. Look no further than Brookwood Leather. Bob is an amazing character to work with. He was a very nice gentleman, and he had no need whatsoever to provide me with such a gift. What I do like is that he also sources his material from America, and, you know, that's, for me, that's a big deal. I try everything I can to make, you know, to get all the parts that I buy from America, down to my nuts and bolts and whatnot like that. So I use American, you know, SAE size stuff. Sorry, it's not that I have anything against the metric system. It might be a better form of math, but realistically, I like America. So again, I just want to thank you, Bob, for your contribution to this build. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. That was very much unexpected and very, very graciously welcomed. I appreciate that so much. And for those of you who are looking for an absolutely well-made handle that it will last a lifetime and that is, you know, really true leather, not just a piece of thin steel with a vinyl or rubber around it, Brookwood Leather. Take it there. Give them your money. I will, at this point from forward, always be getting my straps from Brookwood Leather. Two reasons. One, made in America, and I mean, these things are just Class A. I love it. It looks beautiful. It looks even better on the amp that's getting ready. Oh, we are so close. But in any case, thank you so much for sitting through my little thing, and Bob, thank you. I appreciate your contribution. All right, another quick little update. We finished off the trim piece here in the front, and you may notice here that I finally made that. I changed it to be that. So I couldn't help myself. It had two different L's, and it's kind of like, no, I needed to change it. So I did some legwork there on that. So this thing is about ready. All we've got left is to put the speaker in, and then of course there's some touch-ups in the back to do. I don't have the light on right now. It's not actually plugged into anything, obviously, because there's no speaker or whatnot. So the corners, I'm happy with how they're sucking in to the side of the amp. I don't think they'll ever quite go all the way in, but looks a hell of a lot better now than it did before. So let's take a look at the back side and see what we're working with there. All right. I got super duper lucky. I think I've already mentioned it before. I got an absolute gorgeous piece of wood from this company off of Amazon, and I've just been winning lately with them. You can't really see it, in the real world it just shimmers. You can kind of see how it kind of changes a little bit. Just, it's almost a waste to have that beautiful of a chunk of wood on the back of the amp, but my whole thing is the amp is a piece of art, and that's the way it should be. While you don't see this side very often, when you do, it's something to look at. Still have a couple things to do. I still got to put that screw in there, and I'm still waiting on some screws to put in this receptacle here. I'm very persnickety about certain things, and the screws I was using before for this just weren't setting well with me. I wasn't happy with them, so I couldn't find any locally, and so I had to order some. So they are on the way. Neat little quirk, I guess. Maybe not. Most people don't care. Probably doesn't matter. Obviously, to put the speaker thing in, you put it in through that little hole there, push it in, and it fits nicely in there. It's a nice, perfect little fit in there. I like that. It's kind of cool. I don't know, and it can't come undone because not that one's ever come undone anyway. But so kind of a cool little thing. It tries to run away on me. There's that. What also is cool about this, I thought about making it so it followed the profile of this little cutout here. Thought about that, but then I was like, you know what? If I make it do that, then I can have a handle to get the back panel off. And then, of course, you can see here, I got the magnets and the mirror in the back. That's my signature thing. So don't you start doing it either, because that is a me thing, okay? That's me, not you, me. All right. So it's cool because this thing is partly friction fit, but then just the little magnets suck it right in. I love that. One of the better fitments I've done in a long time on an amp. And then of course, it's raw wood underneath this thing here. You can kind of see there. So when it's on, you can't even see that. It's so cool. Yeah, nailed it. Ugh. All right, so enough gloating. So yeah, we're almost done. There's a couple things inside of the amp I need to touch up. Obviously, I need to play it with the actual speaker in. I haven't put that in. I'm kind of waiting until I have this amp actually ready to run. In order for it to run, I need to have this installed, and I need to just button up a couple things inside. Outside of that, I think this thing is just about done, and then we'll finish off by putting on that lovely handle that Brookwood Leather provided to us for this build. And then we'll kind of do, maybe in the last part of the segment, we'll do a little bit of a story on what this amp is supposed to be, why it became to be, and a little bit more about the handle or whatnot. But I'm using a cream back in this particular speaker, or combo amp, excuse me. No holds bar on this thing. I mean, this thing is literally a Fundraiser amplifier, so I'm not making a penny off of this thing. But I am also not holding back at all on making sure that whoever gets this thing is getting the best world-class amp that you could, that you could possibly get. So I hope they're as happy to own it as I am to have made it. I'm really going to be bummed to see this thing go, because it is absolutely a gorgeous example, and it sounds great too. It is a clean pedal platform amplifier, which is crazy to say when you're making a 5-watt amplifier, but let me tell you that when I design amps that seem to be mostly geared towards pedal platform stuff, which is a cliche kind of thing to say anyway, because a lot of people are saying that nowadays, but really what it is that I want to focus on the sound of the amp being right to begin with, not with all the distortion, because I don't like effects loops in the amp. I like to keep them as simple as I can. And one of my things I found is that with the pedal craze that's going on, and pedals being as prominent as they are now and have been for many years, the amp is really just the last part, the last thing that really exemplifies what your sound is. So I try to create amplifiers that are very, very neutral, but yet very, very pure, if you will. And so what what comes in is more or less what goes out per se, and that, you know, when you, depending on how you set it up, will kind of add the character one way or the other. It does very, very clean cleans, and it also does a little bit of dirty breakup for those that need a little bit of the dirt. They're not distortion monsters. This thing isn't particularly a growler. It's not meant to be. It's meant to get you right there where you need it to be, so then you can push it kind of the rest of the way with the pedals. So that's more or less the designs I have. That's kind of my thing. Not that I'm not going to have, you know, gain bangers later on. You know, we're definitely going to have some high gain amplifiers in my lineup eventually, but lately I've been focusing more on just, you know, raw, you know, pure amplification. So I'm working on a 45 watt design, if you want to call it that. It's kind of in the realm, let's just say it'll be, if the JTM 45 is what you're thinking it is, that'll be maybe 10% of what the amp actually is going to be. But it's going to do a thing, and it'll give you that JTM 45-ish kind of sound if you want it to, but also just be, you know, it really is going to emphasize the whole clean thing. And then eventually I'll work on getting a more high gain, you know, amplifier design to offer up. But for now, we've got a 5 watt design, we've got an 18 watt design, and spoiler alert, I have a 30 watt design coming very quick. No, it is not an AC30, but it's, I mean, obviously it's a 30 watt amp. It has 4 ELD4s in it, and you can call it a AC30 if you want, because it has elements of that in it, but an AC30 it is not. But in either case, that's where we're at right now. I'm going to call it here, and we'll see you back in a few. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are finally there. We are ready for the big stinky cheese. We've got the celebratory drinks already started up, rationed up, ready to go, if you will. Sorry, excuse me. I have the screws now that I need for this. I have put this screw there in. I finished all the rest of the wiring inside there. Nothing crazy. This thing here was a part that I had to figure out which value I wanted. I figured out which value I wanted. Outside of that, there wasn't really any wiring left to do in there. As you can see, there's not much to do in here. This may still change. We'll see about that. I don't know yet. Right now, I'm right about the 90% mark. I'd like to be closer to 95%. This is 130 ohm. I think 120 might get me up a little too high. We'll see. I don't know. We'll see how it sounds first and foremost, I guess. You can see here where I tucked the little ballast for the lights. So this will power the LED lights inside the thing. So it tucks nicely over there in the back. So yeah, this thing's ready to go in the chassis. We got just a couple things on the chassis to button up, and then we can put the tubes back in and stuff it inside of the amplifier, and we'll show you the kibbles and the bits. Alright, I just have to show this part because it really doesn't get any nicer than this moment here. This is about as good as this amp is ever going to look ever again. Obviously, once you put the back panels on, you're not going to be able to see much of that, but just look at that gleaming finish in there. Isn't that beautiful? I mean, come on. By the way, a trick, when you first peel the plastic off in the areas that were exposed, it's going to be like oxidized a little bit. It'll be like a little white. I didn't show that because it doesn't look good, but honest to God, just like breathe on it, you know, just like, you know, kind of get your foggy breath on there. It might just be because of the alcohol that I've been drinking, but that's what it is. That's got to be what it is. But yeah, just breathing on it a little bit and then wiping it with a nice like microfiber cloth or something like that. Won't scratch the aluminum, and it will clean off some of that haze that's left over. And you can kind of see it on the back here. You can see right there. There's a little line. That's where the plastic was before, and that's where it wasn't. So if you just give it a little breath and then, you know, give it a quick little wipey wipe, it cleans up pretty good. In your case, that's how I got rid of most of the lines in there. But moving on now. So we're at the point now where I need to align the chassis. The chassis has to be pretty much spot on this thing for everything to fit. because the back panel literally rests against the back side of the chassis and fits over the top of this faceplate here. So I got to put the back on, make sure it's good, and then put the front on, make sure it's good, and then actually tighten it up. The screws are already in there, but I used all 8 screws. I don't see a point in using 4. What's 4 more once you've got that damn thing in there? This thing should never ever have to be replaced. If you want a different speaker, then you probably should have bought a different guitar amp, really. I mean, that's as good as they come, I think. So, personal opinions. Again, that's why I don't like combo amps, because you pretty much are stuck with what you got. And to experiment, you gotta spend money, and that's an expensive speaker. Those things are going for like $200 these days, 180, 100 and something like that. But by the time you get it shipped to your place, it's a $200 freaking speaker right there. Come on. Anyway, here we are. Let's keep moving on. All right, just another quick little update. Here we are now. We are ready to put the back panels on. The speaker's locked in there. I got the speaker wire all wired up and done up. So yeah, this thing is locked in, ready to go. Obviously you don't get to see the front yet, so hold on, we'll be there. This little piece here, we've got a big segment to do. Again, I got to give a big shout out to Bob at Brookwood Leathers for this beautiful piece that is going to set this thing off. And there we have it with the back panels on. As you can see, it looks quite pretty. Oh, so pretty. Get that nice angle of the dangle right on that beautiful speaker. You can see what I was talking about with having the hole there for this guy to work its way in and out with. But I love that. All right, so let's put on the final piece. No amp is complete without the handle, so we'll come back to that in here in just a second. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That is how it is done. No amp is complete without a handle. And this handle was provided for this amplifier specifically by Bob over there at Brookwood Leather. I mentioned him a lot, and the only reason I really do that is because he really went a step above and beyond. I wanted to buy a handle. That's all I really wanted to do, was buy a handle. I need to buy one for that guy. And as you can see, there's my signature thing kind of going on. I got the lights, the L, yada yada yada, all that crap. So that's one of my 18 watt models right there. And this is my 5 watt Class A model. But that one needs a handle. It's going to get this exact same one, and I'm going to be glad to pay the money for it. Bob went above and beyond providing me a handle for this amplifier. He had no need to, no reason to, other than just being a cool cat. So this is really kind of just a shout out for him. Honest to God, if you're looking for a quality leather handle that is beefy and does the biz, Brookwood Leather, look no further. I just thank you so much, Bob. I appreciate it. So this does light up just like that, and we're going to show you that here in the next segment. But in the meantime, let's just take a quick little gander at this thing. Yeah, don't mind my dirty laundry over there, okay? Just don't you mind that. So, and this is of course some other work that I've done. This is one of my prototypes here. That's why there's not a handle on it. So this one here, I've got like 2 or 3 others in the back that are ready to go. Same kind of cabinetry. Everyone's a little bit different, but this one is, in particular is mine. It's got some different transformers than maybe what the other ones have. But all in all, it's pretty much the same. This is the one that started it all right there. So in either case, let's put this thing back on my other stand over here, and then you'll get to check it out a little bit more. And there it is in all of its glory. That is how I do it. So you can kind of see the allure of what I got going on here. Obviously you can see the L, you can see it in the background on the mirror. No, you don't get to see my face. I try to do it in such a way where it kind of lights up what's going on there. So on a dark stage, you can kind of see, all the biz. Legacy amplification is what I'm going with. So just one of my better pieces of work here, mainly because it's a whole thing. I've never done a combo amp before. It's always been just a head. So combo amps are very, very difficult to get right, I think. And by right, I mean that there's just a few of them out there to really kind of create a litmus with. You know, you got your Fender Champs, you got your Roland JC 120s, you know, and you've got a few other, you know, standouts, maybe like Tone King or something like that has got a few. They've all got one, right? But it's really, really tough to get a combo amp that no one has ever heard of right. And we'll go through some sound samples and expose all that here in a little bit. But there you have it. This is what about 2 to 3 months worth of actual work will get you. You know, I think I started this on October or something. And here we are, it's January, so I mean, realistically, it's a little bit longer, but there's large swaths of time in there where I wasn't doing anything. Obviously, you know, I ordered the parts, say, in October. It took them a week to get here, and it took, you know, another week or two to really kind of get rolling on it. So there it is. This one's going up for auction here in about a month. Not quite a month. Well, I guess it's at the end of this month, so it's February 1st to, no, today's the 30th. So in about 29 days. So yeah, about a month it's going up for auction. But we've got a month to get some video done on it and get some sound samples and get some media and all that jazz. Get it all prepped and ready for its new owner. Alright, YouTube. This is not how I wanted this to go down. I ran out of time, so to speak. The auction that this thing is going on is about 2 weeks away. It's on the 26th. Today is like the 6th or 7th or something like that. So whatever today's date is 6th or 7th. So, you know, I've got just a little under 2 weeks to get this thing done. It's technically done. However, I just found out they also need to do their media stuff for this auction, which means they need this amp. So it's got to leave my possession, which is unfortunate because I was not expecting to let this thing go quite yet. But you can just kind of get some of the idea of what's going on here. You're not going to get to see my face, and I apologize, but you can kind of see what my whole thing is here. That's my shtick. So this is just a clear piece of plexiglass, and then the light's up above it. You can kind of see the little dots there, and that brightens everything up. So this thing came out absolutely freaking gorgeous. We are getting ready to do some recording. I guess just to kind of show you what I've got going on, there's about 4 or 5 inches there. I think it sounds a little bit better with the mic off of the speaker cab a little bit. I know in a live situation, you know, you're generally going to have, sorry, I'm moving things around. Generally, you'll put the thing right up. It sounds fine that way too, but this doesn't have the luxury of a tone control, so you kind of got to use the mic placement to really kind of dial in the sound. So we're going to do that here in a minute, but again, real quick, I just want to give a big shout out to Bob at Brookwood Leather. Just an amazing handle. I don't know if I set it up right, but I liked it like this, so that really did complement this amp well. I talked to him. I think I'm going to get him to make me these. He doesn't know it yet. Bob, you're going to be making me these. I know that you can bang me out some corners that match your wonderful handles, and they'll be much better than these guys here. But I will say that this is one of my best pieces of work thus far. Just as a whole, so I'm super duper stoked about that. I guess I'll here in a minute, after I'm done doing this part of the segment, I'll go back and I'll show you what the backside looks like in more detail. But for now, I've got this thing set up for recording, so let's bang out some video here.